Okay. So in the previous session, we have seen the practical approach, the practical exposure of deadlocks, how the conflicts will be existed, therefore how the conflicts will be leads to deadlocks. We have seen everything we have seen. Today, we'd like to concentrate the same in terms of a theoretical approach, how the things will be mentioned in as far as the theory is concerned, and what are the different activities which is being taken into theoretical approach here. Okay, so normally there is a word in databases, granularity. The word is granularity. Granularity in the sense conflict. Granularity in the sense conflict. So how the data has been locked and how the database has been acquired the lock and apply so-called locking mechanism is called as a granularity of that particular lock. Okay. Then the database server can be always trying to perform different kinds of operations. So those operations might be DML operations, more specifically speaking, DML operations, and how DML operations will be restricted while locking is going to be gets happen. Okay, and here, so there must be concurrency. Concurrency, it does means same number of operations. I mean, two different users are executing same kind of operations on same kind of database or table. Okay, on same kind of table, many number of people are trying to access it. Then such kind of accessing is called as concurrency. Okay, that is called as concurrency. So during the concurrency, to avoid concurrency, people are so normally operating locks. Okay, these locks might be operated by the many number of users, so that if user number of queues in number of users will be gets operated these locks, then locking overhead will be come across. How this could be, so this can be taken into consideration. So that is why many number of servers, not Oracle server, many number of other servers, SQL server, MySQL server, or Postgres server, or MongoDB server, all these servers could be taken. In addition to table, they may be taken page level and row level also. Row level locks also gets operated over there. Okay. So then how the lock table will be, of course, we have already seen in this particular thing, the granularity of granularity of locks will be either it is in share mode or it is in exclusive mode, either of these two. Either it is in share mode or it is in exclusive mode. Already we have seen, so share mode in the sense, only selection can be gets operated here. Out of all these DML operations, so these DML operations are not supposed to be took place. That is called a share mode. And so many number, as much as many number of people will be, or users could be operate share mode operation. There is no problem at all. Already we have seen what are the different kinds of problems which we have occurred when read conflict will be taken into consideration. Already we have seen in the previous sessions. And exclusive in the sense, all DML operations will be gets eligible to operate on the same instance or same table here. So only one user can operate the exclusive mode, but share mode can be gets operated by as many number of users. Okay, as much as many number of users can be operated the share mode, whereas exclusive can be gets operated only one user can operate that one. Okay, however, so here we have already seen read conflicts, write conflicts, read conflicts, and write conflicts. And if any conflict will be gets occurred, then if you want to release the lock, so obviously you have to operate commit. Commit will be used to release the lock here. So however, let us see whatever the discussions we made in the previous session. So let us see theoretically what exactly the problem will be, because in our final examinations you are expected to write only theory but not the practical approach. If you write the practical approach, people will not correct it. Okay, I mean the evaluator cannot be collected. So therefore we have to consider how the things are being happening when the theoretical approach will be taken into consideration here. Let us see how the things will be gets worked out here. Let us see. First one, types of locks. How many kinds of locks are there here? So we have two different kinds of locks are there here. So already we have discussed everything here. Lock is a variable. It is a small variable, so which can be associated with each and every table. So when lock will be zero, the value of lock will be equal to zero, then there is no lock which has been operated by any transaction. Or lock will be equal to 1, then obviously the lock has been identified or allocated to some other person. Okay. So we have two different types of locking mechanisms as per theory. As per theory, so we have two different types of locking mechanisms. One is binary locking. Second one is read-write locks. So it has been already seen by us in practical approach also. We have some kind of information on this one in practical approach also. That is share and exclusive locks. It is there with us. So theoretically, let us go ahead and have a look about everything here. So here, binary lock, the name itself indicates, what do you mean by binary? 2, only 2. So these binary locks might have only 2 states. Only 2 states which are available. Either it is in locked state or it is in unlocked state. When it is locked state, the lock which is being, the variable lock which is being associated with that table will be set to 1. Where unlock, so the variable will be set to 0. Okay, so on database item X, there might be having several number of locking mechanisms which are being operated here. That might be equal to 1, and X cannot be so taken any kind of other operations from any other users other than the person who was already acquired the lock. If one person, so let me say user 1 has acquired lock on database item X, so the item X cannot be give any permission to others to operate some kind of a DML operations. That is the meaning here. And if lock on X will be equal to 0, yes, lock requisitions will be granted, and so that lock will be so taken into consideration. So how this could be gets implemented? How this could be implemented? Let us have a look here. The implementation could be done by using lock underscore item, which is used to log the data, log the database. Unlock item, so therefore lock has been released. These are the two different types of statements which we have to use. Okay. If any transaction, if any user wants to lock that particular item before going to operate read or write on that particular item, so first of all, that particular transaction must be gets operate this operation here, that is lock item. Okay, first you have to operate lock item, then you can perform any read or write operations based on your requirement. Okay, lock item X will be what it could be done here. So let us write a very small so algorithm. So if lock item or lock of X equal to 0, then acquire that particular lock. Okay, so nobody has acquired a lock on that particular X, then whatever the user who requested that particular lock has it immediately done. Otherwise, if lock item is not equal to 0, then what shall we have to do? So wait until lock will be becomes 0. Wait until lock will be becomes 0. If lock will be becomes 0, then immediately you can acquire it. Otherwise, you must be wait for some more time. Okay, lock of X equal to 1, for example. So transaction A has been taken. So on X, the lock value will be equal to 1. For example, this is the lock value here. So lock value equal to 1, and B is trying to request. B has been made a request that so allocate the value of X to me, something like that. So let me consider. I don't want to write in such a way you could not understand what I'm writing here. Okay, let me write in such a way here. So B has been operated. So lock on X. If this could be gets operated, so then what would be happen? Already the value of lock has been allocated to transaction A. So therefore, this condition will be failed. This condition will be failed. and it will be goes to else part. Else part is you must be wait until what extent you are supposed to wait. So when so this particular item's lock value, when this particular item's lock value already taken by A here, so this particular item lock value will becomes zero, till then you have to wait. Till then you have to wait. If it is not come across this zero, then you have to wait for some time. Okay. So if it is becomes zero, then lock manager wakes you up. Lock manager will be give information to you that yes, it has been locked, so therefore you can acquire the lock. Okay, so that is the simple algorithm. So it could be taken into consideration. Then again go to B, and if lock equal to zero, then you have to acquire the lock. If unlock item will be taken, what would be happen? So immediately lock will be, so lock of that particular item will be becomes zero here. It could be becomes zero. So therefore, obviously, one more transaction will be get the chance to acquire the lock on same object, that is X, so that he will be proceed with X item. Okay. So these are the two different types of algorithms which could be happen when a lock item will be taken and unlock item will be taken. Okay, these are the two different kinds of operations or algorithms which could be implemented for checking for lock item and unlock item here. Okay, then before applying the binary locking, what we are supposed to do? Okay, so binary locking mechanism has been taken by your transaction. What kind of measures? Okay, what kind of what do you call precautionary measures you have to take into consideration? Any transaction, whatever the transaction it may be, transaction T must be issue the lock item X before read item or before write item. Before trying to read the data or before trying to update the data. Either of these two situations, you must operate lock item. Unless otherwise, your transaction shall not come under binary locking mechanism. Okay. సో బిఫోర్ రీడ్ చేయడానికి మునుపు వాల్యూని సర్వర్ దగ్గర నుంచి మీ క్లయింట్లోకి రీడ్ చేయడానికి మునుపు లేదు మీ క్లయింట్ దగ్గర నుంచి సర్వర్లోకి డేటాని రాసేదానికి మునుపు ఈ రెండు సిచ్యువేషన్స్ లో సో మీరు చేయాల్సిన పని లాక్ ఐటమ్ అని చెప్పేసి అప్లై చేయాలి. ఇది అప్లై చేయకుండా రాస్తే మీ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ బైనరీ లాకింగ్ మెకానిజం కింద రాదు. షుడ్ నాట్ బి కమ్స్ అండర్ binary locking mechanism. Point number 2, a transaction must be gives its unlock X అనేది ఎప్పుడు ఇవ్వాలి when it could be given here in the sense, so all read items and all write items, okay, all read items and all write items has been completed. So reading has been done, writing has been done, everything has been done. So no need to keep that particular lock with you. Then you have to apply unlock. Unless otherwise, don't operate unlock before any read or write operations. You must remember this. Then third point, a transaction must not be issue lock item. A transaction must not be issue lock item if it is already holds. If it is already so acquire the lock on that particular item. ఆ ఐటమ్ మీద ఆల్రెడీ లాక్ తీసుకొని ఉన్నట్లయితే మరలా ఇంకొకసారి లాక్ ఐటమ్ అప్లై చేయకూడదు. సో దర్ మే బి పాసిబిలిటీ టు పుట్ యూ ఇన్ డెడ్ లాక్ ఫర్ ఎవర్. ఓకే, నెక్స్ట్ వన్. సో T will not be issue so unlock item unless so it is not hold the lock ని తీసుకోకుండా unlock అని అప్లై చేయడానికి. So these are the 4 points which we have to remember. So lock item must be operated before read item or write item, before reading the data or after writing the before writing the data. Either of these two situations, yes, you can operate lock item. You can operate lock item. So unlock will be after completion of all reading items and all writing items on the same object, then unlock can be operated. Then you are not supposed to give lock item if already lock has been held by or lock has been acquired by the particular instance or particular table. And unlock also not supposed to be issued even if you are not acquired the particular lock. If you are not acquired the particular lock, then you are not supposed to give unlock over there. So if you unlock will be given, then obviously will be put into so undover forever deadlock mode. Okay, these are the 4 operations which we have to remember while binary locking mechanism is going to happen here. Then, so okay. Next kind of locking mechanism, already we have seen this particular kind of locking mechanism using Oracle. In the previous class, we have seen. So how lock item, lock table in show mode and how lock table in exclusive mode, everything has been seen here. So binary locking mechanism is giving more and more overhead on locks. The binary locking mechanism apply చేయటం వలన లాక్ ఓవర్ హెడ్ అనేది చాలా ఎక్కువగా ఉంటుంది డేటాబేస్ ఐటమ్స్ మీద. సో దాన్ని అవాయిడ్ చేయడం కోసం because for reading you have to apply lock, and if you operate lock nobody will touch that particular item. For writing also you have to operate only lock, single lock, so that writing in the sense it's okay because you are updating something, so it could be okay for everybody. For even for reading, so you just take that particular item completely, so that could not be seen very good. So that is why one more locking mechanism was introduced, that is shared or exclusive. So here, so many number of transactions will be read on that particular item X, so that you have to propose only for read. Okay, so if you lock item, it could be locked forever until you have to unlock, that could not be available for anybody. So that could be problem. So that if anybody is trying to read only for read on that particular item, they will get some kind of frustration because they are supposed to place it to waiting state for longer period of times. It could be only for reading purpose. They are putting into longer period of times. That could be so not seems very good. So that is why these two has been implemented. Okay, and because of read operation, because of only for read operation, conflicts are not supposed to be done. Conflict in the sense, while you are trying to apply for, if it is a binary locking system, you have been operated lock, and second person is trying to acquire the lock for reading, it is not possible. So that is not possible to acquire the read operation, then it is called as conflict. So such kind of conflicts are being existed here. So to make these things are very easier, yes, we have taken exclusive lock or shared lock in terms of doing some kind of business with that. Okay. So these two, this particular scheme, these two locks are very much useful for us. So read lock, write lock, and unlock. Otherwise, as far as practical approach, share lock, exclusive lock, and commit. Okay, commit and unlock అని ఇక్కడేమో థియరిటికల్ గా అన్లాక్ అని డైరెక్ట్ గా రాయాల్సి ఉంటుంది. ఈ ఆపరేషన్స్ ని ఇంప్లిమెంట్ చేస్తారు. సో లెట్ us consider read lock and then write lock and then exclusive lock. Sorry, unlock. Okay, every item. So lock has been 3 possibilities, either of these 3: read lock or write lock or unlocked here. Read lock is also called a share lock. Already we have seen this one. This is also called a share lock, and write lock is called as exclusive lock. Already we have seen this one. So let us have a look here. Just give one second. Just give 1 second. So it must be given at the end. It must be given at the end. Yes, it has been gone for at the end. So okay, let me go ahead and display this one here. Okay, you can see. So shared and exclusive locks will be seems like this. Number 1, a transaction, whatever the transaction you can consider, that particular transaction will be applied a read or write lock. read or write lock before any read items. Read అప్లై చేసేటప్పుడు అంటే ఓన్లీ ఫర్ రీడింగ్ పర్పస్ కోసం రీడ్ రైట్ లాక్ అప్లై చేయొచ్చు. కాకపోతే ఎక్కువ సార్లు రైట్ లాక్ అప్లై చేయడానికి లేదు, నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ టైమ్స్ అప్లై చేయడానికి లేదు. బట్ వీ హ్యావ్ గివెన్ సమ్, ఐ మీన్ many textbooks have given this kind of approach. Okay, when right lock is being operated, when we are trying to operate right lock, when you are trying to write the data or update the data on that particular instance, then only you have to operate right lock. Otherwise, you don't go for right lock. Okay. Then unlock will be gets operated after all write items or read items and everything has been completed. Then we will go for right unlock. Otherwise, don't give or don't issue unlock before going to write or read items on the same instance. And obviously, you are not supposed to issue read lock. So if it is already holds read lock already మీ దగ్గర ఉండి ఉన్నట్లయితే read lock అప్లై చేయకూడదు. లేదు రైట్ లాక్ ఆల్రెడీ ఉండి ఉన్నట్లయితే సో రీడ్ లాక్ అప్లై చేయకూడదు. ఓకే, దాని హియర్ ఆల్సో సేమ్ రైట్ లాక్ ఎప్పుడు అప్లై చేయకూడదు అంటే రీడ్ లాక్ ఆల్రెడీ మీ దగ్గర ఉన్నప్పుడు, లేదు రైట్ లాక్ ఆల్రెడీ మీ దగ్గర ఉన్నప్పుడు సో రైట్ లాక్ అనే స్టేట్మెంట్ మీరు ఇవ్వకూడదు. ఓకే, దే ఆర్ నాట్ సపోజ్ టు గివ్ ఇట్. Now, T will not be issue unlock before completion of all different kinds of operations. Otherwise, you are not, unless you are not to hold any read lock or write lock. మీ దగ్గర రీడ్ లాక్ రైట్ లాక్ రెండిట్లో ఏదో ఒక లాక్ లేకుండా మీరు అన్లాక్ అప్లై చేయడానికి కుదరదు. If you are supposed to operate unlock, then you will be put into waiting state, indefinite waiting state. These are the 6 points which we have to remember. ఓకే, రీడ్ అండ్ రైట్ లాక్స్ ఎప్పుడు అప్లై చేయొచ్చు అంటే రీడ్ ఐటమ్ అప్లై చేసేటప్పుడు రీడ్ కానీ రైట్ కానీ ఆపరేషన్స్ అప్లై చేయొచ్చు. రైట్ లాక్ ఎప్పుడు అప్లై చేయాలంటే ఓన్లీ బిఫోర్ రైటింగ్ ఐటమ్ రైట్ చేసేటప్పుడు మాత్రమే అప్లై చేయాలి. బిఫోర్ దట్ యు ఆర్ నాట్ సపోజ్ టు ఆపరేట్. అన్లాక్ ఎప్పుడు అప్లై చేయాలంటే ఆల్ రీడింగ్స్ అండ్ ఆల్ రైటింగ్స్ అంటే రీడ్ ఐటమ్స్ తర్వాత రైట్ ఐటమ్స్ అన్ని అయిపోయిన తర్వాత అన్లాక్ అప్లై చేయాలి. So read lock అనేది you are not supposed to apply. So if you are already hold either share lock, otherwise the read lock or write lock. Read lock and write lock and already మీ దగ్గర ఉంది. ఆ పర్టికులర్ టైంలో మీరు ఆ స్పెసిఫిక్ టైంలో రీడ్ లాక్ ని మరలా అప్లై చేయకూడదు. రైట్ లాక్ కూడా సేమ్ అంతే. అలాగనే అన్లాక్ మీ దగ్గర ఎటువంటి లాక్స్ లేవు, యు ఆర్ నాట్ హోల్డింగ్ ఆర్ యు ఆర్ నాట్ acquired any kind of locks on the database, so that you are not supposed to apply unlock here. If you do apply the same, then you will be completely put into indefinite waiting state. Then ఎలా అప్లై చేస్తాం గమనించండి ఒకసారి. This is the way. So this is the way we have to operate on this particular thing here. Transaction has been begin, lock item. Okay, read and write lock కాదు, ప్రీవియస్ స్టేట్మెంట్ లో ఉండాలి, ఇది ఇక్కడ పెట్టేసినట్టున్నాం. ఓకే, ఇక్కడ ఇప్పుడు ఎప్పుడైతే లాక్ ఐటమ్ హ్యాస్ బీన్ హెల్డ్ బై ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ T1, దెన్ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ T2 అండ్ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ T3 విల్ బి పుట్ ఇన్ టు వెయిటింగ్ స్టేట్, ఇద్దరు కూడా. సో గమనించండి, at 0th time transaction was started by T1, at one time transaction has been taken the lock, so interleaving can be happen. Interleaving in the sense then it is going to access begin transaction at delta T2 and delta T3. So transaction T2 is trying to acquire the lock on A, which is already held by transaction T1. So this particular person will be put into waiting state. Waiting state kelipadu. Therefore, so here transaction T3 kuda adhe pani chestundi. So ikkada kuda waiting state kelipadu. Ikkada kuda waiting state ki velipadu. సో కాబట్టి ఎప్పుడైతే అన్లాక్ అప్లై చేస్తారో అప్పటి వరకు యాక్చువల్ గా సో ఈ 3 ఐటమ్స్ అయిపోయి ఇక్కడ కూడా అప్లై చేయడానికి ట్రై చేస్తున్నారు. నో, ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ సపోజ్ టు డూ. ఇక్కడ కూడా అప్లై చేయడానికి ట్రై చేస్తున్నారు. ఇట్ ఈస్ ఆల్సో నాట్ సపోజ్ టు డూ. Whenever commit will be unlock and commit will be gets operated, then there is a chance to operate so transaction T2 and transaction T3. Otherwise, there is no specification here. ఇంకా అప్లై చేయడానికి కుదరదు. దెన్ ఈ పర్టికులర్ ఆపరేషన్ ని అంటే రీడ్ లాక్ రైట్ లాక్ ఈ రెండు షేర్ లాక్ ఆర్ ఎక్స్క్లూజివ్ లాక్ ఈ రెండు కూడాను ఒక పర్టికులర్ ఆర్డర్ లో ఎలా అప్లై చేయాలి దాన్ని టూ ఫేజ్ లాకింగ్ మెకానిజం అంటారు. దట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ యాజ్ టూ ఫేజ్ లాకింగ్ మెకానిజం which will be ensures that the serializability will be taken. Two phase locking ante ento chudam. Let me open one particular statement, one particular thing here. Ela two phase locking ku munupu ela untundo okasari observe chedam. Let me write something on Sublime. Look at this where it is askew. Yeah. Let me write a transaction T1 which is suggested you something like this. So this is a transaction T1. Transaction T1 ela chustundante gamanidam ikkada. What exactly he is trying to perform here is he is requested to read the data of A, read the data of B and read the data of C. Mood elements ni read chesi, mood elements ni update chesi malla database lo rayali. So ate ee mood operations ela chestunnaro okasari gamanidam. Begin transaction has been begin here. Ikkada begin చేసిన తర్వాత ఏం చేయాలనుకుంటున్నారు? సో ఏ అనే ఐటమ్ ని రీడ్ చేయడానికి ట్రై చేస్తున్నారు. రీడ్ చేయాలంటే ఫస్ట్ మనం రీడ్ అండర్ స్కోర్ లాక్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు ఆపరేట్ రీడ్ అండర్ స్కోర్ లాక్ చేసిన తర్వాత then you have to operate read item. So a ni read చేశారు. Of course you can perform a will be equal to a plus something, whatever the value is maybe, whatever the updation you could perform. Yes, you are very free to operate your own updation. Then రైట్ చేయడానికి ట్రై చేస్తున్నారు. ఇప్పుడు అప్డేట్ అయిపోయింది కాబట్టి రైట్ చేయడానికి ట్రై చేస్తున్నారు. సో రైట్ LOCK రైట్ లాక్ ఆఫ్ ఏ రైట్ లాక్ అని ఇక్కడ ఎక్వైర్ చేశారు. ఎక్వైర్ చేసిన తర్వాత సో రైట్ ఐటమ్ ని రైట్ చేశారు. ఎస్ ఇట్ హాస్ బీన్ ఓకే. అప్పుడే మీది మరి ఆ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ కంప్లీట్ అయిందంటే ఇంకా అవలేదు. ఇంకొక 2 ఐటమ్స్ ఉన్నాయి. ఆ 2 ఐటమ్స్ సంబంధించి కూడా ఒకసారి అబ్జర్వ్ చేస్తే సో అగైన్ రీడ్ లాక్ ఆన్ బి, సెకండ్ ఐటమ్ మీద రీడ్ ఐటమ్ ఆఫ్ బి. సో బి ఈక్వల్ టు బి మైనస్ okay b equal to b into some 4. However whatever the operation it could be, yes you can operate your own operation. Right lock acquire చేస్తున్నాం. సో రైట్ చేస్తున్నాం, ఐటమ్ ని రైట్ చేస్తున్నాం. సిమిలర్లీ సో సి కూడా సేమ్ అంతే. సో సి కూడా read lock of C and then read item of C. C will be perform some kind of operation. C equal to C minus some 25 23 whatever it may be. So right lock you have to acquire the lock and you have to write item. Then finally after completion of everything so you have to operate unlock of A. Okay, just wait for a while. ikkade raseddam unlock of A ని అన్లాక్ చేసేసారు ఇక్కడ. అలాగనే B ని కూడా అన్లాక్ చేసేసారు ఇక్కడ. అలాగనే సో C ని కూడా అన్లాక్ చేసేసారు. హియర్ ఇట్ ఇస్ C ఆల్సో అన్లాక్. ఒక్కసారి అబ్జర్వ్ చేస్తే ఇది 2 ఫేజ్ లాకింగ్ కింద కనిపిస్తుంది. అట్ ది ఎండ్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు రైట్ END end transaction complete గా ఎండ్ అయిపోయింది. సో దిస్ ఈస్ వాట్ the specification regarding to entire transaction here. ఇది నార్మల్ గా 2 ఫేజ్ లాకింగ్ అంటారు దీన్ని. దిస్ ఇస్ కాల్డ్ as 2 ఫేజ్ లాకింగ్. ఎందుకంటే రీడ్ లాక్ తర్వాత రైట్ లాక్ వేర్ ఇట్ ఇస్ రైట్ లాక్ రెండింటిని ఆపరేట్ చేసాం కాబట్టి దీన్ని 2 ఫేజ్ లాకింగ్ అంటారు. ఈ 2 ఫేజ్ లాకింగ్ ని మోర్ స్ట్రిక్ట్లీ 2 ఫేజ్ లాకింగ్ చేయాలంటే ఎలాగా? స్ట్రిక్ట్లీ 2 ఫేజ్ లాకింగ్. So first of all we would like to discuss 2 phase locking here. 2 phase locking is use the 2 phase locking protocol. So it is also phase 2 locking, whatever it may be. So whatever the thing it may be. Okay, then you can consider that so it could be taken the locks. So in this type locking protocol all transactions will be acquire the locks after release one after the another. Okay, so ప్రతి ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ సంబంధించి సో వాట్ ఎవర్ ది ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ ఐ హావ్ రిటర్న్ సేమ్ థింగ్. ఫస్ట్ ఐటమ్ సంబంధించి మొత్తం ప్రాసెస్ అంతా ఇక్కడ చూడండి ప్రాసెస్ అంతా కంప్లీట్ చేసాం. Then second item, on that particular item we have released the lock, and second item సంబంధించి process అంతా complete చేసాం, lock and release చేసాం, and so on and so forth. Then it is called as strictly two-phase locking. Okay, దాని two-phase locking గా చెప్తూ ఉంటాం. Okay, so second part వచ్చేసి ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ సంబంధించిన లాక్స్ మొత్తం కూడాను అప్డేట్ అక్వైర్ చేస్తూ ఉంటాయి. తర్వాత థర్డ్ ఫేజ్ లో వాటన్నిటిని కూడా తీసేస్తూ ఉంటాయి. అయితే స్ట్రిక్ట్లీ two-phase లాకింగ్ ఎలా ఉంటుంది? హౌ యూ కెన్ రైట్ స్ట్రిక్ట్లీ two-phase లాకింగ్? ద సేమ్ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ విల్ బి రిటర్న్ ఇన్ strictly two-phase locking mechanism, something like this. What does it means? What does it means? You have to start our transaction. You have to start our transaction. ikkade rasestunnanu. You have to start our beginning of transaction. It is also comes under. It is also comes under T1 only. This is T1 ne. So ee T1 ela untundo okasari observe cheddam. Idi strictly two-phase locking mechanism. What exactly it is trying to perform here is, before read how many number of items, before going to read first read item, acquire all read locks. అంటే ఈ విధంగా గమనించండి, read underscore lock, read lock of A. ఇమీడియట్ గా ఈ పర్టికులర్ ఐటమ్ ని రీడ్ చేయొద్దండి, ఇమీడియట్ గా రీడ్ చేయొద్దు. సో యూ జస్ట్ అప్లై దిస్ read lock, acquire that particular lock, and then acquire B's lock also, and then acquire lock of C also. All read locks ఒకేసారి తీసుకురావాలి. Then you are supposed to go for read item of A. A కి సంబంధించి సో రీడ్ అప్లై చేయండి, B కి సంబంధించి రీడ్ అప్లై చేయండి, and then సో C కి సంబంధించి కూడా రీడ్ అప్లై చేయండి. అన్ని అంటే రీడ్ లాక్స్ మొత్తం ఒకేసారి ఉండాలి, రీడ్ ఐటమ్స్ మొత్తం ఒకేసారి ఉండాలి. సో హియర్ ఇట్ ఈస్ A, here it is B, and here it is C. All items have been done here. Now here, what exactly we are trying to do? A equal to A plus 30, whatever the operation we are trying to perform. Similarly, B equal to, so B into 4, whatever the operations we are trying to perform. Then followed by, so C equal to C minus 23, however, whatever the value it may be. All operations okay, sorry, perform change. Then apply for right lock, right underscore lock of A. Okay, this particular operation could be done. This particular operation could be done. So for all things, for all items here. So right lock of B. Then here also right lock of C. Yeah, right lock of C also. After this, you have to write each and everything. Right item A. You have to write the item A, and then write item B. Second item also be written here. Write item C. Yes, C item could be written. After this one, unlock of A. సో ఫస్ట్ అన్లాక్ వచ్చిన తర్వాత ఇక మాకు ఫర్దర్ గా మనకి రీడ్ కానీ రైట్ కానీ ఉండకూడదు. సో అన్లాక్ ఆఫ్ బి, అండ్ దెన్ ఫాలోడ్ బై అన్లాక్ ఆఫ్ సి. ఓకే, దెన్ సో యూ హ్యావ్ టు గో అహెడ్ విత్ and transaction. So this is the way. You can see this one. All read locks are supposed to be taken at a time. So all read locks have been taken at a time, and all operations will be taken at a time. All write locks have been taken at a time, and then all write items has been taken at a time. Then followed by all unlocks has been taken at a time. Followed by. So this is called as up to this particular place to this place, which is called as growing phase. So ikkadi nunchi ikkadi varaku growing phase antaru, దీన్ని ఆపరేషన్ ఫేజ్ అంటారు, దీన్ని సెకండ్ ఫేజ్ గ్రోయింగ్ అంటారు దీన్ని. then it is shrinking phase. అన్ని లాక్స్ రిలీజ్ చేస్తున్నారు కాబట్టి షింకింగ్ ఫేజ్. ఓకే, సో let me copy this one to, let me copy the entire transaction to MS Paint. Then I'd like to explain. So look at this. So here, whatever the transaction we have taken into consideration here, so look at this up to this particular point. So here to here, so this particular thing to this particular growing phase. This is called as growing. Second phase growing. Okay, this is shrinking phase. Shrinking phase. Okay, like this. Then strictly two-phase locking antaru. So S2PL antaru. Idem just two-phase locking. Just a two-phase locking. Ante read lock, write lock అని ఉంటుంది కాబట్టి two-phase locking అంటారు. This is called as strictly two-phase locking. Strictly అంటే సో read locks అన్ని అయిపోయిన తర్వాత ఐటమ్స్ మొత్తం రీడ్ చేస్తాం, దాని ఆపరేషన్స్ మొత్తం కూడా పర్ఫామ్ చేస్తాం, కంప్లీట్ ఆపరేషన్స్ పర్ఫామ్ చేస్తాం. చేసిన తర్వాత రైట్ లాక్స్ మొత్తం ఒకేసారి ఎక్వైర్ చేస్తాం కంప్లీట్ గా. Then you have to write items to the the item updated item back to the server, and then you have to release each everything. ఒకటి రిలీజ్ అయిన తర్వాత ఒకటి అన్లాక్ అయిన తర్వాత మళ్ళీ రీడ్ ఐటమ్ కానీ రీడ్ లాక్ కానీ రైట్ లాక్ కానీ రైట్ ఐటమ్ కానీ ఉండదు. ఓకే, ఫస్ట్ అన్లాక్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు పర్ఫామ్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్. అన్లాక్ ఒకసారి స్టార్ట్ అయిందంటే మిగతా అన్ని అన్లాక్స్ అయి ఉండాలి, కానీ ఏమి రీడ్ రైట్ ఐటమ్స్ అనేవి ఉండకూడదు. కానీ స్ట్రిక్ట్లీ two-phase లాకింగ్ అని చెప్పి చెప్తారు. ఓకే, so we shall continue this one by tomorrow because time is very less. Let me take your attendance. Don't go away. Okay, that is what about the strictly two-phase locking here. Okay, you can see growing phase, shrinking phase. Growing phase లో అన్ని లాక్స్ అప్టైన్ చేసుకోవటం, అండ్ దెర్ ఇస్ నో రిలీజ్ ఆఫ్ ఎనీ లాక్. అప్టైన్ చేసేటప్పుడు ఒక్క లాక్ కూడా రిలీజ్ చేయకూడదు. షరింకింగ్ ఫేజ్ లో ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ మే రిలీజ్ లాక్ బట్ దెర్ ఇస్ నో అప్టైనింగ్ ఆఫ్ ఎనీ సింగిల్ లాక్ హియర్. దీన్ని స్ట్రిక్ట్లీ two-phase లాకింగ్ అని చెప్పి చెప్తారు. ఇది ఎలా ఉంటుందో ఒకసారి గమనిద్దాం. ఇక్కడ కాదండి, ఒక్క నిమిషం, వెయిట్. ఐ లైక్ టు గో అహెడ్ అండ్ yes. So transaction has been started and you have to acquire first lock, a read lock here, a read lock has been acquired. Then here one more read lock or write lock, whatever it may be, single item anukunnataithe right lock apply cheyam. And then you have to take the